Hello and welcome to the Queen's Couch Podcast with our amazing host, Dr. Tanika Victoria. She curates a space for women where all women are encouraged to collaborate and do not collide. Join us on the couch tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Queen's Couch. We are back for part two of our series of amazing women that will be sharing during Women's History Month. And tonight, we will not be disappointed. We have an amazing guest to share with us tonight. She's known in these streets as the Balloon Lady. So we are going to talk about business, family, legacy, and just the power of a woman. So welcome to the couch. How are you on tonight, Sheila?
I am good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for joining me tonight. Can you tell everyone who you are and how did you come? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So my name is Sheila Fluker. I am the COO of the Balloon Squad here in Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Dallas, Texas. I'm also the founder of the Business Success Squad and the founder of the Minding My Own Damn Business Bestie Retreat that we host every year. So I am all things business and, of course, all things balloons.
Yes, I love that. It's so amazing to have you tonight. So we're going to dive in talking about all about business, but all about the power of being a woman. You know, sometimes we see powerful women and we say, how can I make it happen? You know, you look at women and you think, is this obtainable? Can it be obtainable? And so, just to have you tonight to share, of course, you're in a service based industry,
Right.
serving clients with balloons. And so, that's inspiring to someone like me who is in the holiday decor styling, but it could be inspiring to someone who is actually just getting started and they're like, I'm starting this business, but I don't know where it can land me. So we're going to get into it tonight. And so one of the questions I have is, what inspired you to start the Balloon Squad and
Okay.
how did you get so successful?
Okay, well, I actually got started with the Balloon Squad. I always say on accident. I was in the military serving, and my last tour to Iraq, I got hurt and ended up having to do what was supposed to be a medical retirement. Came back. I was 3 months shy of the retirement, of receiving the retirement benefit. So I just had to do a separation, a medical discharge. So that kind of put me in a whole frenzic. I was going through depression, PTSD, and anxiety, like clinically diagnosed. And it was a rough time for me because I had never really had a job as an adult. So I thought I was going to be able to do my whole time in the Army. But then I went to church one day and saw some balloons on the table, a balloon centerpiece. Had never really paid attention to balloons outside of balloons on a ribbon. And I was just really intrigued, not listening to what the pastor was saying. I'm just looking at the balloons. Like, I was so intrigued. It made me feel good. It made me feel happy. And turns out one of the ladies that was on that committee that did the decorations was actually one of my good friends. And I asked her about it. She said it was easy. I said I wanted to go to a class to learn how to do it. And I found a class in Florida that was a 2-week long course. Called the young lady. She said she had a year-long waiting list. And we just got to talking. I was telling her about my military experience. And she told me that her dad and her husband had been in the military. And she knew exactly what I was going through. So if I could get to the class that weekend, she would let me in. So I told my husband, we're going to Florida. And went to Florida, did the 2-week course. Furlough had happened right when we got back because my husband did go to the class. He wasn't in the class, but he was like sitting in the class. Furlough happened when we got back, and he never went back to work because I started posting on Facebook, like, you know, what I was doing. I was feeling better, and people just started like hiring me, and I needed help, and he never went back. After furlough happened, and we've been full-time in business together ever since, and that was 2017.
Wow, that is so amazing. That story is just so inspiring. Like, you know what? I just saw something that caught my eye and
Mm-hmm.
never knew that I could scale it to this point.
Right.
So when
Right.
they see the balloon lady, they see that you have a business in Charlotte, Columbia, Texas. Tell us, how did you scale this business in almost what, like 8 years? What did it take? What was the mindset that you had to have to be like, you know what, I'm
Okay.
moving on, I want to scale.
Okay. Well, I started out of, like I said, accident, but I knew that we wanted it to be something bigger. Like when I started to think about it as a business, I decided to go back to school. So we had been in business, I think maybe a year or two. And I decided to go back and get my master's, my bachelor's. I got my bachelor's and my master's after we had started the business in business because I wanted to kind of just know more about it. Um, and I've never been afraid to be different. So I believe in education. So we always went to, to different conferences and just kind of educating ourselves and everything like that. But I knew I wanted to do something different, and I just kind of wanted to be like a household name. I loved how it made me feel. And I just wanted to kind of spread that joy with people. And I don't know. It just kind of it got big on accident too. Like I was in the mall in Columbia, and then that mall asked us. They were like, "Hey, they love our setup. How would we feel about doing it in the mall in Charlotte?" And then so we did that, and we moved to Charlotte. And then my mom retired from the school district. She was like having some other issues and stuff, and she didn't really want to work that schedule. So she retired from the school district, and she was like, I want to learn how to do balloons. So that's how the Texas balloon squad came about. So everything is kind of, I won't say it's not by accident, because that's the way God made it to be. Like that's the path that that I was supposed to take. But so the plans were always afterwards. And then me and my husband just started to think like, we want to be a household name. We want to give other veterans and other, couples the opportunity to own businesses. So we started teaching classes, and it just kind of grew from there. And I know that I wanted to retire, but I wanted to keep getting the money. So that's when we decided like, okay, we have to make it a franchise, or we have to do like some licensing deals or whatever. So I just wanted to be bigger than me, because I know the impact that balloons have on people's life. And it's not I won't say it's not a hard job. It's demanding, but at the same time it's so rewarding. Like the smiles that we get and how we make people feel. Like I very rarely deal with an irate customer. So I just knew that I wanted it to be bigger than us. I guess that's the answer to your question.
That is, I love that. I love it. I love it so much because when you think about it, it's like a family business.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
all these things happen, but it happened to set you up in a place where you are running these multiple businesses and you're having a time that you want to spend with your family,
yes,
to build this legacy for your family. So
absolutely.
tell us about some of the challenges you faced that you had to overcome as
Oh,
you grew this business.
how long we got?
We got about 45 minutes.
Okay, let me keep it short and cute then. No, seriously, like I mean, there are a lot of challenges with being an entrepreneur, from mindset to funding to building your team, like all of that stuff. Is so many challenges that come with it. But I guess the first one that I'll talk about that hit us the hardest was definitely like funding, finances. Like we just didn't have the money. And then a lot of times when people, order balloons and stuff like that, I didn't know any better. So I was allowing people to like order before they gave me any money. So I'm like front loading, all of the product and trying to buy this stuff and cater to their party. And then they might change the color. So I guess really my biggest challenges was probably funding and just really knowing the business. Like I feel like I should have got a coach a lot sooner. And then I would have kind of known what to expect and, what to look for. But I think those are probably my top two, just funding and mentorship.
Okay, that is amazing. So as you got your funding and your mentorship, I know you also do like business credit. So how did business credit, once you learn and you grew, how did business credit help you leverage this business um, to be a successful entrepreneur?
Okay, so business credit was really like how we scaled, honestly. When I learned that you could use other people's money to make money, I was golden from there. Like I started to implement it in every aspect of our life, on our product, our inventory, our helium, getting company vehicles so that we didn't have to keep renting U-Hauls. Now we have our own vehicles, and so we leverage business credit in a major way. And it has been a game changer for us, just even outside of the balloons. Just the way you can really live your life under your business credit, because your business should be its own entity. Like it should be its own thing. Like it shouldn't be under you. And I know so many people start their businesses using their own personal credit and their savings, and because we did the same thing, like our own money. But if I would have known about business credit earlier, I mean, I probably would have had 10 stores by now, because it's like the best kept secret when it's done right and responsibly. But we have definitely used business credit to leverage our business in a major way.
Awesome. So what would be some advice you would give to someone who said, "Hey, I want to get in this business. I want to leverage my business and scale it to another level." What would be three things you would say to them if they came to you and you were mentoring them and they said, "Hey, I really want to start this business. What do I need to do?"
The first thing I would say is get a coach, get a mentor. Like in the industry, it's good to have business mentors and coaches, but this industry is way different. It sometimes it's a one size fits all, but then a lot of times it's not. So you have to get somebody, or even in the event industry, like this is a whole different animal. So you have to get somebody that understands and that can cut out your learning curve so that you can kind of jump ahead 10 years without trying to figure everything out by yourself. So I would definitely say get a mentor or coach. Start those trade lines, like start your business credit. Go ahead and find those vendors that offer net 30s and net 60s, and so that you can build up your inventory, and then have a vision. Because it's a one thing to want to start, but if you don't really have a plan on where you're going, you'll end up anywhere. And I think a lot of people just say, "Oh, I want to be a business owner," but they haven't like planned it out. Like, what's the exit strategy? What kind of business do I want to be in? Do I want to serve corporate clients with these balloons? Do I want to have birthday parties and weddings? So it's like a lot to think about. But I think the first thing is going to be start with a plan. And when you have that plan, find a mentor or coach around that plan, and then start getting business credit accounts, and starting those trade lines. And I think that's kind of like the success method, or a success recipe, or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, no, that is true. Just making sure you have a plan. That's very
Yeah.
important. So as I sit here and I know that you service a lot of corporate clients,
Mm-hmm.
and um, when you get into the corporate client space, it's a lot different than when you're doing a party or a wedding. So how do you prepare yourself for when you're ready to do a corporate client? What is
Um,
it you do?
that we do. So I think for the corporate client is a lot about, like I was just saying, like that vision. I knew, and then we still have, girls that work in the retail store, but I knew because of my health and just different things that I have going on, I couldn't work every day, all day on the weekends, which is usually when people have personal events. So I wanted to get into the corporate space because I knew that corporate clients, they kind of do their things during the week. So, my kids when we started, my kids were still small. My daughter's 20 now, 20 and 15, my son. But when we started, the kids were still small. My son was playing football. So I knew we wanted to get our time back, which was a part of that vision. So I just started like, networking, making sure I was at different events, making sure I showed up professional. So that they knew it wasn't like a fly by night company. And then I just started building those relationships with people, and those people started to tell their people, and they start reaching out. So really all of our corporate clients, which we have served over, I think 125, is really about relationships, people that I've met, that I've networked with. And then I cater to what they need. Like I make sure they don't have to worry about it. So giving them the ease to know that I'm a professional, and they just need to let me know what space they need to fill, and we got the rest of it, and how much money they got, then it
Mhm.
it works for us. So I think just building that relationship, being being personable, but also being professional so that they know that they can rely on you, because so many people have been burned by, other people, other artists that are not as serious about the business. So you really have to go in hot and heavy to let them know that you're a professional. They don't have to worry about it when they hire you. And I think I've built that reputation. So other corporate clients tell other corporate clients, and we just kind of build off of that, and it's worked for us, and that has made us very successful, really, our relationships.
And relationship, and that's one of the things that I always talk about, having good customer relationships
Mhm.
and customer service. And
Right.
you know sometimes when you are starting a business, you're not thinking about how important that is, but the bridges that you build, you never know who's going to come back,
Hmm.
and they may not service you now,
Right.
or they may not need you now, but they may have a friend. Oh, I know somebody I've just met.
Hmm.
She's really nice. So, what are some tips for good customer service when it comes to corporate clients? Because they want to feel at ease.
Right.
They
Right.
want to feel like, hey, she coming in here. I hired you. I want you to get it done.
Right. I think good customer service, and that's one of our core values here at the Balloon Squad, is the customer service. We want to become a part of your family, a part of your event. If it's an annual thing, we trying to show up every time, right? So definitely it's going to be the follow up. If we did an event for you today, and we know it's an annual event, what is this, March, next January, we're reaching back out to say, hey, we know you have this coming up. We have notes in our calendar to know like what you got, what you did, to kind of refresh it, or just that follow up, for one. For two, the confirmation. We're going to call you to let you know we're coming. Is everything good? Did anything change? And then we're going to follow up after the fact to say, did everything go well? We want to know how you felt about it. We want to, well, how did the guest of honor feel? Or it was a retiree. We want to ask about the event, so we get very personable. And that's another thing that brings our clients back, because we're very invested in the event of what they have going on. So I think customer service is, a lot of people, some people like get upset, or when clients do different things, or like, okay, we close at 6 o'clock, but somebody drove up at 5:59. No, if you drive up at 5:59 and we're still here, we're going to service you, because without the client, we wouldn't have a business. So we don't really get into like all of the negative side of things. Like, we feel like the customer is first. But with that being said, we take care of our staff good enough to where they want to make us proud, and they want to serve customers, because we built that into our core values. So no matter who you talk to at the Balloon Squad, you're going to get the same experience, because we all care about your event. And the way that we take care of our staff helps them take care of our clients, which allows the clients to get the same experience. So I guess just having like those core values to know, like, you want to please this client and you want them to come back. So it's nothing wrong with them coming in when you're about to close, or them calling early in the morning. And I know you should set boundaries. That's not what I'm saying, like let them call you whenever, but you do have those times sometimes, especially when they've been burnt by other artists, to where they're just a little uneasy. So you have to kind of get them over that hump to let them know that it's okay and they can relax.
Okay. That's wonderful, because when you think about it, a lot of times people think, I have to get the money, I have to get the money. But the one thing about it, in a service business, you're going to make the money from the recurring and the repeat clients,
Right.
because
Right.
yeah, you can go out in year one and have a lot of clients, but if you don't give them that customer service, they're not going to call you back. So then your next year is not going to be as successful as the
Right.
other. And I
Right.
think people don't think about that aspect of it. They just think about, oh, I got all these clients this year, but how did you handle your clients? How did you take care of them? How did you date? How did you date your clients?
Exactly.
How did you
And
follow
are
up?
they coming back? Like, are they repeat clients, or you just have a whole lot of new clients? That means when they're experiencing you, they're not having a reason to come back, because you should have, repeat clients, because that's where the money is, because you already dealing with somebody that already trusts you, knows your brand, they've given you money before. They're the easiest people to get money from again, versus, a new person that has never done business with you. So it's very important to like nurture those relationships and those clients, and make sure that they're happy.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about family and business balance and having that, you work with your husband. You told us a little bit how you and your husband decided to get into business. So tell me, how do you maintain a strong marriage and a thriving business at the same time? How do you do that?
So my husband is the CEO, and I'm the COO. So at the end of the day, he makes the final decision. But for the most part, he kind of lets me go and implement things. But I make sure like all of the operations are good to go. I am very traditional, so I believe in the man leading and just kind of being the head of the household, and it does spill over in business too. Like at the end of the day, he has the ultimate say. But it is kind of like my baby that I carry and just kind of nurture. But I kind of keep that in mind. And don't get me wrong, because we fuss now. We fuss and we might get into it at the office, and I don't want to talk by the time we get home. But we have balanced it out, and we have set those roles like he's the COO, he's the CEO, I'm the COO when it comes to the big picture of the company. Now, when it comes to just the day-to-day operations, I'm a general manager and he's production. So in this aspect of it, like I'm over, what he has going on. So I let him know like, what's going out or, what needs to happen or whatever. So being in those roles, like he knows he's responsible for production. I know I'm responsible for getting clients or payroll or, doing the scheduling. So like having that job title, like we actually have job titles that we work under. So I think having those job titles help us. And then we do like date nights and stuff like that. So, we have times where we just kind of kick it and chill out and just do us. But at the end of the day, I love working with him because I don't have to worry about a partner stabbing me in my back or trying to take the company or anything like that. Like at the end of the day, we have the same goal, the same, path or plan that we're trying to do and leave a legacy for our kids, our grandchildren, so I love that. But yeah, that's kind of how we deal with it. We operate in our roles. That we get paid to do. That's on our W-2. Like that's what we get paid to do. So if everybody stay in their lane, then we're good. But sometimes we do cross over here and there, but for the most part, we have kind of figured it out, and it's much better because when we first started, this was not our testimony. But we've got pretty good at it now. So we kind of stay in our own lane and we know how to handle one another. And we know that work is work and home is home.
Yes. Yes. So how did you set those boundaries? You said it took you a little while to get it. So how did you set those boundaries? Okay, this is work, and we may have had something going on at work, but now it's time for us. How did you set those boundaries? What are some things that you decided?
Communication. It was communication. It was like, I'm upset, and then he's like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, you made me mad at the shop today, so just like trying to hold that stuff in and not really talking about it, it can cause an issue that will blow up later. So really just us communicating and say, okay, well, we need to stop talking about work all the time. We're going to stop at 6:00. Let's take a time, once a week or every 2 weeks to go out and we'll hang out. I love the lake and water. So we'll go and, to a restaurant on the lake, or he'll get the boat and we'll go out and, have lunch. Or so we really make time for one another. But it came through communication because he thought that I just loved being at work, and I do, but at the same time it's like, okay, it has to be some separation here, like what we got to do here, what we got to do there, and then just in finding people that could feel the need to kind of give me time back at home. So okay, someone to clean, someone to do meal prep, like that gives me time back. So if we're at work all day, now when I go home, I can focus on them. If we want to watch a movie, if we want to hang out, dinner's cooked, the house is clean. So like giving other people opportunity to kind of serve in our life, and you don't feel overwhelmed with like, I got to work all day. Now I got to go home and cook. I got to help with homework. And even if someone can't afford to do meal prep or a cleaner or something, right now, get up early in the morning, make a little sacrifice, put something in the crock pot, like make a meal plan for the week, just to kind of get your time back so you're not so exhausted when you get home. Because I feel like sometimes, especially as women, we're so exhausted because we're wearing so many hats. We end up taking it out on the people that love us the most, because that's what was happening. I felt like I was doing so many things. Now I'm home, I got an attitude, but it's really because I needed to find a little bit more balance, where if that means, like I said, paying someone to do other things to free up some time so I don't feel overwhelmed, then you have to do that. And that comes with building a team as well. Like, you can't do everything by yourself. You got to hire somebody, because you will get burnout. And you think you can't afford it, but when you look at your bank account on all the other things you spent money on, you can set $1,000 aside to pay somebody for the month. So I think it's just I think that's where the balance is, just kind of figuring out what you need and how you can get your time back, and open communication, not just with my husband, but with the kids. Like, we set them down to let them know what we were trying to do, what we were trying to accomplish, and what our goals were, so that they knew that, hey, it's going to be some sacrifice a little bit for the next year or so, but this is why we're doing it. And I think letting them understand what was going on made it easier for us too, because I used to feel that mommy guilt, like, we're home, we're working late, we're doing this, we're working every weekend. But then when we kind of started to explain to them what was going on, that's what allowed me to kind of start saying, okay, well, let's go for corporate so we can be off. So, like, just communication, basically, because I'll ramble on.
No, that was good, because one of the things I love that you said is getting your time back. And a lot of times we as women want to just be the superwoman. But when you get time back, it helps you to focus on your family. And
Mhm.
yes, it's still gonna get done. Whether you clean it or you pay a cleaner, it's still gonna
Mhm.
have the same results. It's
Right,
clean. Whether
right,
you cook or you got a chef, the kids are still gonna get the same thing,
right.
but you're gonna get a more happier mom, one that's not burnt out,
Mhm.
and because you decided to take care of you so that
Right,
you can be better for the family. So I
right,
love that, that you do that. That you, hey, I sometimes I just got to buy my time back, and it's
right.
worth it.
It's every bit of it.
'Cause you
It's
can't get
work.
time back. So if I can pay somebody to make my life a little bit easier,
Mhm.
then I'm all for that, to make sure my family is happy.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you have this business bestie retreat.
Yes.
So tell everybody about this business bestie retreat. I am excited about this business bestie retreat. What is this, year two?
Yes, yes,
This
year
is
two.
year two of the business bestie retreat. So tell us, how did it come about? Um, what is this experience like? Because it's an experience.
Yes, it is definitely an experience. So the business bestie retreat is definitely my baby. I love the balloon squad, but these retreats, they got a hold on me. So I wanted to, because I love like massages, like I love an experience. I love an experience. That's why I like to travel and go to different like restaurants and stuff. So I had been thinking about trying to do a retreat probably for like 2 years. I had it on my vision board. I said I was going to do it. And I just never did. I was like, people won't come. I was really like doubting myself. And then I remember sharing it with two of my friends, my balloon friends actually, and they were like, "Girl, we need that. Like, if you do it, we will sign up." And I'm like, "Y'all serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I told them, I launched it. Like, I'm like, "Y'all, we got 4 months. It's no way I would be able to pull this off." And they were like, "Do it." So I'm like, okay, you know what? I had everything wrote out, all the plan where I wanted to have it and all of that stuff. And you remember we stayed up all
Oh,
night getting some games together and stuff. So I was like, and you remember how nervous I was.
yeah.
I was really nervous about it. But I ended up doing it, sold out in like 3 days. And it's very intimate. It's only like 12 ladies, but I mean, it is amazing. Like, we talk about growing and scaling your business. We talk about exit strategy. We talk about business credit. We talk about hiring your team. We talk about taxes. We talk about budgeting, like all the things that or need to be incorporated in growing and scaling your business to make it successful with other women that get it. So it's a no judgment zone. Like, we don't care what you made, what you did, what mistakes you made. It's just a really great safe space for women to talk about their business and grow and bounce ideas off of each other, and we execute. So although we do all of those things, at the end of each session, like, we actually execute. We're doing these things, we're implementing. So it's not one of those conferences or something you leave and it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go back and do all of this stuff, and then you never do it. Like, you're not leaving until you do this stuff. But then we do have a hard stop time so that we actually get time to take care of ourselves. So we have a private chef, we have a masseuse come in. We always make sure it's a beautiful mansion so we can relax by the pool. Hot tub, just like conversation. It's just a good time. It's a good time. It's a
Yeah,
good time.
I am excited. I'm very happy to see how that has just grown. And just like, you started this balloon business, this retreat is something that's your baby now. And so I'm
Yes.
excited to see, as years come, as years go, how this retreat will grow and how women's lives are going to be changed, not only for themselves but a business. And once you have an experience, once your mind has had one type of experience, you it's hard for you to
Can't
go
go
back.
back. Right,
You
right.
can't go back. You cannot go back.
Yeah, yeah. And like last year, we had 8 ladies that stayed in the house, and then we did like some what do you call it? No lodging option. So like people that were local, they came too. But we had 8 ladies that stayed in the house, and 4 of those 8 ladies are coming back this time. So I had to open up the slots, find a bigger house. So now we're letting more people come. I think we did 15 this time, but because half of them were coming back, and 2 of them wanted, the other 2 more people wanted to come back, but they had other engagements, a family reunion and a family trip. So I'm like, okay, we're doing something right. If these people are willing to come back again, give me their money again, and just, have a good time. But I mean, I have 7 of them have now open spaces. Well, no, I take that back. 4 of them have open spaces since they left. And this is not just our balloon artist. This is a chef, a hair braider, and balloon artist. So I have 4 that have their spaces now. 3 have gotten business vehicles in their business name. All of them have started trade lines and have a paydex score now, like they have a business credit score. And then all of them have an exit strategy. Everybody has hired at least one person. So and it's a follow-up. So we follow up like 3 to 6 months just to kind of make sure they're good. But like when I say those ladies left and they like implemented some stuff, they were not playing around. Like they really showed up and showed out, and I'm so extremely proud of them because they went back and they did not let anything stop them. So it's definitely a place where you got to have a little tough skin, because we're not going to let you sit back and just be down on yourself. But it's definitely a place that I love that, I was able to create. And it's kind of one of my proudest moments that I stepped out on faith and believed in myself. So it's really important for me to keep it going, because I know how people can feel when they get stuck and start to doubt themselves. So, but I love it. I love the retreat.
I love it. I love all of, and just the fact that you have these amazing testimonies of that I didn't just come to have an experience, but I had a moment that changed my life, for my business, for myself, for my family. And so not only are you building a legacy for yourself, but you're helping other people build this legacy and know that, as women, as a family, you can do it. And so
Yeah.
that's what I love so much, that it's a family business, but you're also showing people, listen, this is how you get in the game. This is how you get your head in the game.
Right.
Listen, I'm gonna throw you the ball, and what you do with it on the court, you,
Right.
you can pass it, or you can go ahead and
Right.
make the basket. And so that is what I love so much. And so as we're talking about all the retreat, tell me, how important is collaborating with your community, not only of those fellow balloon artists, but just in the communities that you're in? How important is that collaboration for you and for those that you are connected to?
Collaboration is one of my biggest assets. Like my community is an asset. Like oh man, community is everything. Like I said, I'm a relationships girl. So relationships and community is the most important thing, because when you are feeling down, you have somebody that can tell you, you can do it, or they can say, no, you're wrong, sis. Like, you might need to rethink that. You were wrong for handling that situation that way. So somebody to hold you accountable, somebody to encourage you, somebody that really gets like how you're feeling, and they can understand, and you don't feel like you're just talking and complaining, but they understand like where you're coming from, and they can possibly give you, some feedback because they've been there or done that and told you like how they got through it. So building that community and being vulnerable and open and in a safe space, I think the community is everything. And collabing with people, like, for one, that takes some of the stress off of you, but it exposes a friend or exposes, a colleague to for them to have more. Like how we met, through a mutual friend and that collaboration, and now here we are. And then it's so many other things snowballed from that event, that we met at. So I think collaboration is it's everything, and it's needed. It's no reason for competition, because it's enough people out here for all of us to serve. My client is not your client. We bring something different. Even if we were selling the same thing, it's just not the same. So I think collaboration and community is like the greatest asset you can have.
Yes, it really is. Because I never would have met you if I didn't come to a retreat.
Right.
And just being in a room with people where you can feel transparent and you can share your fears, and they're encouraging, no, you can do it.
Right.
Listen, you got this. This is what you can do.
Right.
Push forward, because sometimes, people are out here alone, and they're like, I don't want to be in business anymore, but they're out here a man on an island, and they're not connecting with people. They're not supporting people or getting the support that they need to help them thrive. It's
Right.
like two are better than one.
Exactly.
You have to have someone that you are working with, or someone that's helping you to go to the next level.
Right.
And
And
so
if you don't share that, nobody will know like that you're feeling like that. When if all you would have said is, I feel like quitting, I'm gonna say, I have been there. I have felt like closing these doors. I have felt like I wasn't making enough money. Like, I have felt like, what do I do next? I have felt like I don't know how to hire a team. Like, I have had that feeling, but now look at us, a team of like 12 people in 3 different states. So when you share that vulnerability of how you're feeling and what you're thinking, you never know who can help you and tell you exactly how to overcome that feeling. It's nothing wrong with feeling down for a day or two, but it matters on how you get back up and how you're going to conquer that feeling and how you're going to make that a win. So you have to share, and you have to find a safe space and get you a community, because it's nothing like community. Nothing like it.
nothing. It's nothing like community. I tell people all the time, when you have a group of people in your life, even when you have things that in your past or in your family that may have caused you to feel doubt, or I can't do it, that community wrapping their arms around you will give you that push. It's like healing. It's like it helps you to heal. And so I'm excited that, community brought us together. Community allowed me to meet you, an amazing person. And as we're talking about legacy, what do you want your journey to inspire the next generation to do? What do you want your story to, your journey? Um, how do you want it to inspire the next generation of women?
I want them to be inspired by not quitting. Just keep going. Like, no matter what it looks like, no matter what you have, keep going and be yourself, be your authentic self. Cause I think people are more attracted to authenticity. Like, you don't have to be all these things, just be you. And that's the legacy I want to leave. Like, I want people to realize, like, okay, no matter how much money they have, or, what they do, like, they're still down to earth people. So I want to be known for my transparency, and I don't mind sharing my struggles and what we've dealt with, and issues that we've had and things that we've lost, if it helps the next person move on. So I just want to be known for being an encourager, being an action taker, and somebody that my kids, and I'm about to be a grandma, so somebody that my grandbabies can be proud of, and that's it, to just keep going even when it gets hard, no matter what it looks like, to just keep going. I want them to be able to say that, as the generations go on, like, I did it. I kept going. And even my friends and, you know, other women that might hear this story years from now, just keep going no matter what it looks like. And it's okay to have a bad day. It doesn't matter. Just get back up and keep going. So that's the legacy I want to leave. Don't quit.
Yes, don't quit. Don't give up because
Yes.
you never know what you can do or never know what you can become if you quit.
Right, right.
You know,
And
if you,
start, because sometimes we don't even start because we're so afraid. Like, just do it. You know, it doesn't have to all be perfect. And, you know, I have to have insurance and the vehicle and the business credit. Like, just start. And wherever you end up, it's further than where you started. So just start.
I love that. Just start because
Yeah,
where you end up is further, definitely further than where you were. You weren't doing anything before. So if
exactly.
you made 5 steps, you still did more than what you could have did by not
Right,
even starting your dream.
right, right.
So as you say you're about to be a grandma,
Yes.
are you how is the grandma? I mean, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Like,
I'm excited. I'm so excited. So my daughter, she's only 11 weeks. She just turned 11 weeks yesterday. So I'm excited. But it has pushed me in go mode even more. I had already like planned to, you know, kind of do our retirement like 2 years from now. But now I decided that we're gonna go ahead and implement it this year. So at the end of the year, I plan on retiring. And I'll probably still deal with like some of the corporate clients, do some stuff, but I just don't plan on being here like every day or dealing with the operations every day. Just really like hiring a GM to come in and like do the things that I do. Um and then do like some licensing and, you know, franchises or whatever, letting other people experience the balloon squad, and we'll just kind of get the residual. I always dabble in balloons for as long as I'm living, especially with the kids' parties or something like that. But I want to just kind of get the residual. I want to make sure that I'm really there for my daughter and her boyfriend. Like my mother-in-law was for me. Like when I had them, like my mother-in-law stopped what she was doing, came stay with us 2-3 months to make sure we were good. So I don't want, because my daughter's a braider, she has her own shop. So I don't want her dreams. I don't want her to feel like she needs to stop because she has this wonderful bundle of joy. I want her to know that she has a support team. So if that means I have to stop what I'm doing because, you know, we're doing pretty well, and then I can keep getting residual coming in so that I can be there for her to keep pushing her dreams, I'm all for it.
yes, I love that. That guess what? I'm gonna push you. I can retire and be the GMA of the
Yeah,
year and just sit there and just be there for my daughter and let her go after her dreams and make
yeah.
her mark and do the things that she wants to do. That I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm still doing my retreats now because they don't. I ain't gotta, you
That
know.
ain't stopping, right?
But we gonna hit the retreats heavy. If I gotta do 2, 3 a year, I'm gonna definitely get in the retreats. I've ramped up. I've been doing a lot of more coaching and stuff like that. So stuff that I can kind of manage my time a little bit better out of the shop. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's my plan. That's the legacy I'm planning on leaving, and that's what the next year looks like for me. So the due date is September the 30th. So after that, you'll just see grandma mode, no balloon squad. It'll just be me holding the baby. So at least till the end of the year. Maybe January I'll pop my head back out again. But that's definitely the plan, to kind of focus on them and make sure, you know, they can get their life going and do the same thing when their kids start having kids. I want that to be something that we can pass down support. You know, we pass down so much trauma. I want our kids to pass down support. I want them, like, they've seen what support looks like. My mom, my mother-in-law, how my husband supports me in the business. Like, they've seen support. They've grown up around that. And I want that to be something that is a traditional thing in our family. So whatever it takes, we're willing to do it.
That's amazing because you're right. You're right. We pass down trauma, we pass down fear, we pass down so many different things. And being able to say, listen, I want to pass down a legacy where our family is there, we support each other, we push you to go to the next level in your dream and in life. That's a legacy, a family legacy that many are longing for, but not haven't even seen it in place, haven't even seen what it looks like, how it looks, or what it will be. And
Right.
so that's amazing. And so do you have are any of your children working in the business or No.
My daughter, she hates balloons. So, like I said, she's a braider, but she has worked. She used to work in the store in the mall, but now she's off in college. So, but she worked in the business. But my son, he works in the business now. Very really great at production and stuff. He's only 15, so he's not. He drives, but he doesn't have his license yet. So we'll like take him on some of the deliveries. Like he goes and does the deliveries, but he works in the business. I'm pretty confident that if one of the kids takes it over, it'll be him. He does enjoy it, and he pays attention. He's really like his dad, like really good with his hands and kind of, how to put stuff together and stuff like that. So I'm praying that that'll be our successor. So that's the plan. That's what I feel like will happen. And my daughter's all about the money, the finances. So worst case scenario, I could see him like running a business and her kind of doing like advisory or CFO. I think they would still work together, but she might not be as hands-on and in the everyday like I think he will be.
That's great. So
And if
that
they don't want to do it, if he don't want to do it, I'm fine with that too. I will,
yeah.
we've built it to where we can sell it, so I'm fine with that too. I don't want to push our stuff off on them. I want them to have their own thing, but I want them to know they always can come back to this because it's always money to be made because people are celebrating every single day.
Hmm. They are every day. It's a celebration,
Yeah, yeah,
whether big, small. It's a celebration every day,
right.
um, and so that is the mark of creating a company where, hey, if you decide, hey, I think I want to do this, it's here for you and you
Right.
can run with it and take it to new heights. Or if you don't, it still is a part of our family legacy because we can sell it and we're still known for that. And so that's that's a part of being a great mogul, a great business person, that you leave something that has your name and your mark on it. When I think about Walmart, or if I think about the Rockefellers, you think about those things that they leave behind for their children
Mhm.
to have, um, and you hear now, oh, well, the great grandchildren are running, or the great grandchildren, and so I want to I love to definitely see that um, in our community, that we're leaving a legacy of businesses and different things that our children and our grandchildren can have and know, when they say their um, Mima's or grandma's name, they know that, hey, her blood, sweat, and tears, and my grandfather started this, and I want to make sure that I keep the legacy going for generations to come. So that is amazing. It has been amazing having you on tonight. I know a little bit about your story, but just hearing your story and just hearing how you've grown and how you just have blossomed into this amazing businesswoman. And you say it's by accident, but it's just by purpose that
Right.
you took the risk. When you take the risk, things happen when you take the risk. I have one final question. Is that if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I have to say nothing. Nothing. I believe, like I said, everything was by accident. So I feel like if I would have known anything else, one different decision or a wrong or left or right turn would have changed the outcome of everything. So I would just say nothing. I would do it all over again. I feel like the different things that we've been through, the struggles or lack of the knowledge for different things had rolled us into something else and allowed us to learn something else and take us to a new place. So I probably just say nothing, just to have the experience all over again, because I wouldn't want anything to change. um yeah, so
All
nothing.
right. No, that's amazing, because sometimes people like, if I could go back, but sometimes the struggle and the learning part of it is what makes it so beautiful, so that you can tell the next person, hey, don't take this struggle, you can go
Right,
here, you can
right,
go there, you can not only see the fruits of your labor in your own life, but in those that you mentor and those that you coach and those that you allow to learn and be inspired from what you have done. And so that has just been a great testament or just a great inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us on tonight. It has been amazing. Thank you for sitting on the Queen's couch with me on tonight. It's been a long time coming.
I know. I appreciate you thinking of me. I really enjoyed myself.
Yes. Thank you so much. I always leave my guests to say some final words before we wrap up. So if there's anything you want to share with the audience before you leave, a favorite quote, anything you would like to say before we wrap up on tonight.
Okay, well, definitely if you guys are out there and you are in the area and you want to come to the retreat July 27th through the 31st, you are definitely welcome. We do have 3 no lodging slots available here in Columbia, South Carolina. But then my quote is going to be from Les Brown. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So just do it. Don't doubt yourself. Go for it and start.
Thank
You
you.
never know where you end up.
That's right. Thank you so much for being on the Queen's Couch, Sheila. Thank you so much for rocking with me and Sheila tonight. This is our second woman that's in our series. And so she has shared some amazing business stories. And next week on the Queen's Couch, we will have a tech. A woman in tech who will be with us, none other than Stephanie Forte. That is an amazing mom, an amazing woman in tech, and just an all around great person. And so join us next week as we talk about women in the tech field and how they are making their mark. Thank you for joining the Queen's Couch. And remember, this is the place where queens collaborate and we do not collide. Thank you for joining us on the couch tonight. Thank you, Sheila, for being on the couch with me tonight. Have an amazing night, and we will see you
All
on
right.
next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hello and welcome to the Queen's Couch Podcast with our amazing host, Dr. Tanika Victoria. She curates a space for women where all women are encouraged to collaborate and do not collide. Join us on the couch tonight.